Hello everyone, welcome to this tutorial. Today we are going to conclude in ISP using a real-world scenario. And the real-world scenario that we'll be using is car management system. As some of us knows, in car management system we deal with the management of cars, client, and also the borrowings. And once you borrows, you might be late to return the car and you can be charged fine or you can even pay those days that you've made with the car once the time or on the agreement to return has reached. So what we are going to do, firstly, we'll be designing a master page. And after designing a master page, we'll be having these four forms whereby we are having the home page, the car and client registration, the borrowing of the car, and also uh, the configuration of the borrowed cars. Thereafter, last but not least, we'll be doing the page for user authentication and user authorization. This helps people to first be authenticated and authorized before using your system, and this increases the security of your system. Let's get started. So the first thing that we are going to do is to design a master page. And what I want our master page to look like this. In the first division, as I can say, we could be having sliding images, where we'll be having like the cars or even the companies, logos, images that are sliding one after another. Secondly, we'll be having system buttons, whereby we'll be having like login, car, the borrowings, the notifications, and so on. Thirdly, we'll be having the content pan, whereby we'll be having the details. And lastly, we'll be having the footer pan or division. So let us open our Visual Studio. For me, I'm using Visual Studio 2015, but if you are having any version, it will work the same. So you can go to File, then New Website. After clicking on New Website, once it is coming, let me just explain the difference between a website and also a web application. The only difference between these two is that in a web application, we'll be having user interaction, like you can retrieve the data in real time, you can update the data in real time, you can delete, you can even insert, whatever that you can do. But a website is normally and usually doing or even being used once you only want to post something and some people are only coming to read. And if someone is having any query, then he or she will even contact you for soon review, not real time. So let me call my system, let me call this thing like car rent, the current MIS, Management Information System, something like this. So after creating my website, then you will see something that we call Solution Explorer. If you are not able to see this Solution Explorer, I am just directing you to come here to view. Then you click on Solution Explorer. It will come for you. So once you reach there, please click there, right click, then go there, then search for where it is written add a new item. And in add a new item, you will locate where there is written a master page. In your master page, you can call it any name, but for me, I'm going to call it CRMIS, which means it is Car Rental Management Information System. Okay, after having this one, there's something that we are going to do. So here we are going first of all to have like some CSS and HTMLs. Let me create another division, and this division of mine, it is the first division, and this is, for example, the division that is having an ID of, let me call it div image, and inside this div image I can have like another division and let me call this division with the ID of something like menu, because it is where my menu will be configured. So here in my div image, there's something that I want. Let me just click here on split so that we can see it like this. So in my div image, I want like this image to appear. I want something like an image here. So here then, as we know, in order to put an image, we use image tag. So here then, in image, I can have my source, and the source, for example, I need to pick it here. So let me go to Google to browse for it. You can search for any car that you want, any car that you want. Let me just download like this one. Great. Let me go to save image as, and I will locate pictures, and in pictures let me call it car1. After this car1, I can click here on view in folder. So then after then I can drag and drop my car. So if I click then here again, then I will see car image coming. If I do save, wow, my car is there, but as you can see, it is a bit it is not full. So I can say, okay, let me try to put it on width, and in my width I can say, for example, 100%. If I make 100%, you can say, wow, it is becoming big, but also not good. Let me also try to manage the height, and my height, let me say, for example, it is having 230 pixels, something like this. Ash, not good, right? This is not good, but okay, you will even just do it once you are doing your project. So it is good that then you first go to Photoshop, you just try to design according to the resolution that you want your image to have. But remember what I want only just to have something like an image. So in my menu then, let me just have a user list, and inside my user list let me have the list, and here in the list let me have something like A, and this A will be helping me to have some hyper references. So if I click save, you can see there is login, and I'm going to continue copy paste many times. So here, before I do copy paste, let me just first of all have like any hyper reference thing, and for the first time I'm not having where to redirect, and this way I'm redirecting to nowhere. So after this then I'm going to have my the other copy paste. So here let me have car, let me have follow a car. You can see the things are coming, right? Wow, follow a car. Then here let me call it dependings, and here let me have something like notification. Wow, so after having this one, so I can have like, oh, okay, okay, let me not put like the styles here. I will put the style in there part for easy access, right? So after having these things, I can say, I want these things to be in the middle, something like this. Let me try text alignment. It is not coming. Alignment, it is not coming. Let me just try something like center here, but I think center is not a good tag to use here. But then let me see if these things will work. Excellent job. Thank you, center. Thank you, center, for easing my work. So I am going then to go here up. As we know, we need to have like some things like styles. Inside my style is where I'm going to do magics. Let's start with the magics. what you need only to remember is this ID and what is in there, like UR, LI, A, and also the hoovers. I will just configure them. So let me start with menu only. In menu, I want to just do some magics in menu, like having the background of my menu to have some colors. Let me say, for example, this one. Great. Well, is this good? I'm not sure. Okay. After the background, let me say, for example, my width. Let my width be 100%. Sorry, width. Okay, let my width be 100%. And also here, let my margin on the top be with something like minus 15 pixels. Wow, you can see due to this minus, this thing is going up, right? Before I put it there, it wasn't there. Okay, let me go next, then to UR, which is menu, then on my UR. So inside my UR, I'm going to have my width, which is automatic. After this one, I will be having my paddings. And in my padding, let me just think of something to put there. Can I put 10, 0, 8, 10? Yeah, let me try. 10, 0, 8, 10. Something like this. You can ask me, why this thing? Let me just put like here 10 and you see. You can see that my words are coming. Let me just put like 100. You can see it is coming. Then put like 1,000. You can see it is coming like that way. So it depends then on the padding that you want to keep. For me, I want to put it to 0 so I can stay in the middle. So after this padding, then here I will just put my margin left. Okay, and in my margin left, I only want minus something like 8. Good, we can see that, wow, something is happening, right? Let me just copy this one. I paste it here down. Other than having this, I also have LI. And in my LI, I will only have I want to remove these buttons. Then I need to restyle type to none. I hope it works, right? Oh, great job. Okay, let me say, for example, I want also these ones to be on one line. So let me change the display to inline. Great, it is done. So let me say, for example, my padding right, let it be to, for example, 2 pixels. Great. So we are done. So let me go then to A, to these things: login, Cabolo, login, car, below a car, pendings, and also notification. So which means then I am going to go where I am going to A. So which means it is this one with LI and also A. Okay, on my A, let me say that on my A, I am having something like background. And on my background, let me just see what I can do. Let me just do any magic. let me say uh, something like this one. Uh-huh. Like this is it. This is what I want. Okay, after the background, I can just put a padding. Let me try the padding to 7, 15, something like this, and I paste it to all. And the text decoration like this, underline, I want to remove them. Let me go to text decoration. Do we have none? Great, none, we do have it. And also the width, let me remove the width, and let me just put some colors, which can be color, let me go to white, something like this. Wow, a very good view. I like this. If you add anything like any other copy paste, like let me say log out, you can see now also it is coming. It is coming. Let me also write about us, something like this. You can see that it's coming with the same decorations. Great, 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 great job. So last one last style that I want to put is the hover. I'm only going to copy this one, and here I'll be having my hover. Okay, the hover will be having the same background, the same padding, the same text decoration, the same color, something like this. We shall see. Okay, once I am done, I don't want to have many things. So, but then once I'm done, I can even just say, okay, whoever wants them to have anything else, like here, I want to have something like a label, and this label will tell to the user that this is the footer part. So this is it. As you can see, what we did is this one. What I did, I only came here and I created this division with these codes. And here, what I wanted just to have like this user list whereby I'm having login, card, whatever, and everything. And also the image of mine to be present there. After doing this one, then I came here to the styles. And remember that style usually goes to the head part when you want to use the styles at your page, like at the page that you are designing. I designed the menu by giving it a color and also the width and also the margin on top. I went to user list by giving also this configuration. After the list, the user list, I went to list, and after the list, I went to A. So after A, I went to the hover of A, just because I want to just see whenever I'm just moving any mouse, then everything will be done very well. Okay, let me just come here. I can just come here and then I say build a website, just to see if I am not having any error. This is what we call the unit testing. You are trying to test each and every unit, or even a step-by-step testing. So as you can see here, we have one success and also one zero fail and zero skip. So which means we are on a good track. Okay, let us start then. I'm going to go to add, then add a new item. Then on my add a new item, I will see where it is written something like a web form, and in my web form I can say select a master page, which means it's a web form but then I will be selecting a master page. In other versions of Visual Studio, you'll be seeing here web form with master page. So please click on there. If this select master page is not there, so here then they will be telling me, okay, which master page you want to select, like this one. So as you can see, it's good. Okay, like I didn't do anything on this default page, right? So, but if I try to view it in Google Chrome, you can see that there are some configuration that it has. You can ask me why and where are these configuration are coming. This is the beauty of a master page. You can only just design once and even call it anyway, everywhere or anywhere you want. Let me start. Let us start, then we go on. Let us go to the registration. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to this Solution Explorer, Car Management Information System. Then I go there, I go to add a new item, then web forms with select master page, and here let me call it, for example, car. Let me go to car, then I click OK. So after this one, so for example, let me go back to my master page. Here there's car, and also there is client, something like this to make it very clear. Car registration, something like this. Car registration. So if I go back to this car of mine, okay, if I do this, then you can see that my car registration is there, right? So what are we going to do then? What are we going to do? Inside here, let me add something. Like, let me try this one, H1. I want to see where the things will be going. Welcome here, something like this. And I come here on the design. Wow, I want everything to come here. Okay, good. Let us start then with the magic. Remember, I am only going to bring a tiara here. If I use split, remember what I want. Want to come here, and inside here, I'm going to add a table, but then it will be an HTML table. So this HTML table of mine is going to have tier and th. So the first table row will be having two table data, and this is it. And inside here in the first table data, I am going to add a label, and this label of mine, secondly, I will be having something like input text. If you try to see it like this is what I will be having. But before the starting of the table, let me just tell the user using H1 or something like this, welcome to car registration page. Let me have something like this, and I can have the text alignment. Let me leave this one, but I will even just put everything in the center as we did it before. even the table. So we are done. Okay. I can only just put, but I will see. Okay, we shall see. Okay, let me just remove this style, because I think the style is the one that is making it like this, because I said 100%. Okay, after this, after having this one, let me say, for example, is we are working on cars. Let me say plate number, and this table row is going to be duplicated with in a number of times. Let me say here the IDs Pierre Tino. Let me even write it in a correct way, plate number. This is, for example, car model. It can be car model, something like this. And after car model, we just have a number of passengers that it can carry, something like that, number of passengers. And also you can have something like a date, right? Return date. Usually the pickup date, I'm not writing it because I will configure it in the system. So after having something like this, you can see, wow, we are having this car registration page, and car registration page, let me just have something like buttons. And the first button, let me say, for example, it is what? Let me say register. Secondary is update. View. And lastly is clear. Something like this. And here I can say register btn, which means button. This is update btn. Thirdly, it is view btn, and last but not least, it's clear btn. So we are having our buttons here. We are done with everything. So this is the footer part. Great, great, great. So we are done with this one. So if we try then to come here back and also view this one in Google Chrome, you can see that our configurations are there. Wow, so assume that for this one we want to do something. Okay, remember that we want to register, update, view, and clear. Okay, so let's continue. So from here, what I want first of all to go to register. I want to make the registration of my car. Remember, each and everything that we are going to do, we need to have a database. So let me open my database, and I'm going to create a new database, and this new database of mine is going to be called CRMIS, which is Car Rental Management Information System. Okay, in my Car Rental Management Information System, I am only going to add a new table, and this table of mine, let it be called car, like, yes, car. And in my car, I'm going to have like a column name, which is, for example, the ID, and here it can be integer, and this one, let me make it as primary key, and I come here down in where it is written identity specification, I make it to yes, which means it will be auto incremented. Secondly, I will be having my plate number, and this one will be nvalcal. After plate number, what else? Okay, let me go back to car. I can right click to view the design. So plate number, car model, and number of passenger and return date. Plate number, car model, passengers, this is integer, and lastly, I think it is return date, and this is date time. So I'm going to call this one car. Great. So for this car, then what are we going to do? What are we supposed to do? If I come here to refresh, I can see that my car is in the database. I can just come here. Let me try to edit like I put any car, the first one, for example, to see if everything will work. And here, let me say, let me use mine. Let me, okay, to for text like this one. Car model is Carina A. The number of passengers is usually 5, and the return date, let me say, for example, 12 of 2021, something like this. If you do it like this, wow, it is done and it is in the system. Remember that I'm having this one. So, and if I want to connect this to my database, I want to come here and I connect it here. So, but then there is something that here that I want us to remember. Remember that your system can have many pages, and it is good to have access to each and every server whereby you can migrate your system to, which means if you put the connection string in each and every page, it's a burden to the programmer, because once you change the server, then everything is going to be changed, because you need to change the connection string from each and every page. So what are we going to do? Let us go here to the connection string, to the web configuration. And here in your web configuration, come here in configuration and then type connection strings. And inside these connection strings, then add something. Let me just add. Then when I'm adding, let me just use this name like connection string, which is yes. And then here I will be having my connection string, and my connection string will be, I'm going to copy it. Properties, you go to your server, then you go to properties, then you will also see where it is written connection string. So if you are not able to see it like there, go to your database, then you will locate it. Sometimes to some people it is not seen like that. Let me just show you the quicker way that you can use in order to view the connection string. That quicker way, please don't come here to just search for the connection string here, just cause you will not find it. There's one way that we can use the other way without using these connection strings, but let us go to our Visual Studio, and from your Visual Studio you can locate Tool tab. From your Visual Studio you can locate Tool and also locate Connect to a database. Once they give you this panel, please go to your SQL server and go to properties and then copy the server name. Usually the server name will be the computer name if I'm not wrong. So then here, come and paste it there. So locate or even select your database name. Sometimes if you want to attach, you can click here on attach. Attaching a file or a database file, it means you are just bringing it from any other server. After this one, here I'm saying use Windows authentication. So if you've used SQL authentication with the username and password, it is better that you do so. So once then you're done, you can see that our database is now in there. Click on properties of it, then you will get the connection string. So okay, remember that we are in web configuration, and in web configuration we were on connection string, and we've been reaching here. Okay, so here the data source is going to be any, let me say my data source is going to be anything, like any server. This is why I'm just putting this dot. Initial catalog will be this CRMIS, and the integrated security will be true. So as I'm done with this one, then let me also have another thing, which is the alignment string, the MS. So the connection string will be the same, but when I come here to this catalog, I will just have another catalog. But let me just call it, for example, master. I will show you where I'll be using it. Okay, so I'm done with this one. So having my connection string, then I'm going to go back to the car. Then I get register, I double click. When you double click, usually the system, okay, you can right click, then you go, okay, sorry, you can go to your button, then when you go there, right click, then you can see what is written view codes. This is the same as also double clicking. When you double click, usually it will take you to the source code, or even when you right click, and also it will also take you to the source code. Okay, let me just first of all import all the systems that I'll be using. And the very first system, it is this one of configuration, using system configuration. I will use this one. After this one, I will use system.data, and this is where I'll be using data set and so on and so forth. I'm sorry for the phone disturbance. Okay, after this data, then I will also go to the SQL client dot SQL client. Okay, I'm done with this one then. What am I going also to do? I will be going to my partial class, then to put on something. So the first thing, it is this SQL connection. So my SQL connection, which is called con, is equal to new SQL connection, and here I will be using configuration manager. Configuration manager, then here to be dot connection string, and this connection strings of mine, it will be in CS. So which means here I'll be having a connection string which is CS, but then this CS for the first time it will be of type connection string, of connection string. So this why then I need to cast it connection string so that it can be understood by the system, I'm sure. Wow, great. Magics all done. Okay, then here after this one, so I can say, okay, let me have like anything like an SQL command, and this SQL command, let me call cmd, which is equal to new SQL command. So whenever I need it, it will just only be responding to my call. And also here, let me have SQL data adapter, which is, for example, SDA. SQL data adapter, and also let me have something like a data set, which is DS, and let me have another thing which is of type string, and this is, for example, my SQL query, something like this. So I'm done to predefine the things that we need. Okay, then what are we going to do? Remember what? Remember that I want to configure for register car. In car registration, well, I need what could be like this one. The first thing that I need to do, it is only registering, right? And here we not go through many things. It's only a matter of registering, right? Let me say, for example, this SQL query of mine is going to be equal to something like this. Let me go here. Then I go here on cars. I want to try any query. Right, insert into car, and here I can have something, then values. Okay, in my car, what do I want? I only need a column for plate number, another column for car model, another one for passengers, and another one for the return date, which can be 12, 1, something like this. Sorry. And this one is the return date. So in here, what do I want for the values? The plate number, let me say it is RAC 422M. Then the car model, for example, this one, something like this. Then the passenger, assume that it is only just accepting A, and the return date, let me say like it is like this one. If I try to execute, wow, one row affected. Let me copy this query and I am going to put it in here. But then here, I will not have like this one. I will not have like this thing. Yet, I will only have some configurations in here. And here is okay, I need to come here back. This is of the name ID, car model, passengers, and also return date. Let me go back and I click on view codes. After this view codes, let me say the ID. Do you have the ID in? I'm not sure. What is plate number only? Plate. Look for my ID. Now let us see. Go to the design. This is plate number, car model. Okay, these things. As we are writing this query, let's go here. Then we just try to blink that one, what we have wrote. And here, if you remember very well, if you go to the design, you click there, you can see the ID. It is called plate number. Okay, let's get back, right click, then go to view codes. Then we are going to call it as plate number. When you write only plate and you press control space, it will come. Why is it not coming? It is only plate platform ID. Here can be some errors. Let us fix these errors. Let's see. What is this type? It is an input. The input is not seen. Let me go back here. Let me again try by saving. I say, okay, let's see where is the error. Okay. Oh, so this input alert is an HTML thing. Let me get in there. So here in my design, I used input. Let me change, and I use a text box, not an input. And if I use an text box, let me call it again plate number. And after calling it a plate number, let me go back to my view codes and I call again, and then I see. Great, it is coming, right? So which means then in everywhere I need to change. So other than then calling it plate number only, let me call txt plate number. Here also it is the same to everything. So let me use text box, and here this is txt car model. This is the T txt passenger, and last but not least, I will use something like date time, or let me use something like calendar. Okay, and when it is like this, no problem, don't worry, it will not be seen like that. If you try to view it in Google Chrome, this calendar will not come like that. Don't worry. SQL insert. Okay, here I am having an error with this query. I will need first of all to go and fix it. But what I wanted is just first of all to have these things. Okay, let me go back to view codes, and I'm getting in. So here it will be txt plate number, and this one it is dot text, also dot trim. I want to trim, I don't want any space. Secondly, I will also have the same, and here it will be again txt car model, then dot txt dot trim. Here I will only have this one, which is passenger txt passenger dot. Sorry for the interruption, for the phone ringing. Okay, let us continue. So here it will be, I hope that it is like this one, which is calendar one dot selected dates dot, let me try to no mean to shorten them, so let me just only, well, if I try to make like selected date dot to short date string, this one like this one also will work. Okay, this is my query, but then it is not good to use these queries. It is only good to use something like a stored procedure, and just bear with me for now to use like this query based configuration, but next time I'll be using only stored procedures and also functions. Good. We have something like this. So after then, we are going to just say, okay, let me just take ncmd and it's going to be equal to new SQL command, and here in my SQL command I am going to pass the SQL query together with something like connection. After passing this connection, what I'm only going to do, I'm only going to take this connection, I open it. It is good that then before opening the connection is you see if con dot connection, if con is equal to connection state, let me see, I'm just forgetting something, if con dot state, great, is equal to connection state dot closed. If it is the case like this one, if con.state is equal to connection state, it is when only I will only open if it is closed. Otherwise, I will just continue using that connection state. Then I will just say cmd dot execute non query. So there's execute non query and also execute scalar. We execute scalar for function when we're having something to return. We shall also see this one. So after this, then I will only just say on then dot close. So I'm closing my connection just because there's no mean to let it open. Okay, so as you can see here, I am done to save everything. But here I can just let me go here to this tier, and I have another table row, and this table row is only having one table data, and this table data is only having a label. So this label is not having any data. The text, I'm removing it, but the label ID is LBR message. So after this one, I can say okay. At the end, let me view codes. After closing, I can say then LBL message is going to be equal to something like this. Let me say car. This car, it's full. Okay, something like this. Let me try this to see if it works. This car, which is txt platinum dot text is successfully saved, something like this. Successfully saved. But here I will not say only this one, I will say dot text. Oh good. So then here I am done. So we can even give it a try, right? Let us give it a try and we see. Let me make this cut to be like make start page. Do you see it? Yes, it's a start page. And then here I can say okay, view in Google Chrome. By default, we are just only seeing this default, but then I want only this one to be like the start page. And also I come again here in view in browser, and let me go there. Start debugging. We can debug. Okay, let me only run in the system. We want to run the system and also insert some data to see if the data are being saved. I have used much time just because I went step by step, but then for the next step it will only be copy paste and that will not take longer. Okay, for this let me say, oh good, plate number, let me say RAE240X Commodore, it's handy. Number of passengers, let me say 5. The return date, let me say this one, and I click on register. We can see that this car with the plate number LAE340X is successfully saved. We are having some issues with our messages. We need first of all to configure it by providing some spaces and so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do is this one only, just provide some spaces. Okay, I am done. As long as you've seen how we can insert, so then let us continue to update and view. Remember that in any professional project we don't need to delete, because we may need those data once in the future. So this is why then it is not good to delete. Okay, like let me again see if it works. LAE 340X, something like this. So Commodore is limited number of passengers full. And this one, even if you want to stick with it, you take it. So car with this plate is successfully saved. Okay, let us continue then with our thing, with our configuration to update and delete. Then we end the first part of the first tutorial. Okay, let me go to the design. So remember that in updating, we want to update the data that are already in the database. So this way then first of all I'm going to have a grid view, and the grid view will be down from here, just behind here, but inside this one, and I'm going to have something like a grid view. I need to come where there is toolbox, and in my toolbox let me have data grid for the grid view, and inside my grid view let me say that I'm having some columns. Great. If you do save like this, you can see that our grid view is there. So I need some bound fields, then whereby I'm having let us go to update. But before we go to update, let us first finish with this that we wanted to work on. While I'm creating it is not allowed within the scenes. Okay, there's numbing of the bound field and also the columns. I don't need this. Okay, so after this one, so what are we going to do? I'm just going to call this one. I'm just going to call this one, and I'm going to only create a function Let me call my function, for example, void display data, and in my void display data method I'm going to add these codes so that I can be able to keep track to it. Okay, let me say my SQL command. Let me call it cd is equal to new SQL command, and this one I'm going to say, for example, let me use SQL query. Let me query something like this one, which is equal to select all flomka, like this one. So I will only have this one and con. So after populating this to my system, so we have an SDA which is equal to new SQL data adapter, and inside here I'm going to pass this one, this SDA. Great. So then the next thing to be done is to have a data table, something like a data table, and let me call it dt, which is equal to new data table, and I'm creating an instance of a data table, not minus but equal. Okay, and after this one I will just come with my SDA and I will fill it with my data table, which means here we have my dt inside. Hope we together. So then here I will have my grid view 1 dot, then I want the data source, and the data source is nothing other than this dt, or the data table, or the data from the data table. Then again I will bind my data, so which means then here I will write data bind, so it's also a function to be called, and I am done. So after this one, so here in my load I will just have the post back, if post back we call this function, if not back we call this function. So this function also will be called after the message. Okay, so and I'm done. So but remember here I want like a good message, like a message which is like well, let me first see if it works. Let us give a try to see. Wow, you can see that data are coming. So let me just try to have some other things like this one. I'm sorry for this, and just ggg something. Okay, it is coming. Very good. So okay, well, as you can see, there is no good design. The design is a bit bad. The design is bad, but just how we can configure this. Okay, after this, then let us go to update. But before we get to update, it is good to have like another button there that can help us to, let me see if you can do it. We want to have another button somewhere here. Let me just put a button right there. Where is it going? I don't know about that. Let me try to go here, and from the first table row, let me only have another table row like this one, and I close it somewhere, and inside it let me have something like the first table data is not having anything, and the second one is just being something like a button, whereby I am just having it as load. Great. Okay, this load, okay, assume that I'm taking this load not here. Let me just take load here down after this one. I think this makes sense more. Great. So I want to load some data, then I update them. So if I want to load, you understand that I will be only putting the ID here, then I call them. It is like search, but which is not like a real search. Okay, so here, for me to understand it very well, I can have like another button which is not clear, but which is, for example, search. And this search button of mine, I can call it search btn. It's a button for to search for me. Then I'm going to configure it. Let me go here in search. You understand what I mean? It is the same as this one. I will only just copy this display data, but other than displaying all, let me have these things copied. Void or search. So this search button of mine, it will now be like search from select all from car, but here there will be something like where, and this where condition of mine, I will have where plate number is equal to something, which means here we're having where plate number is equal to something. Great. So here it will be txt plate number dot text then dot trim. Great. So here we are done. So for example here, if I am only going, for example, to search for, let me see if it works. Great, let me just put like here this ID, this plate number, then I click on load. So this load should only give me like this plate number inside there. Well, as you can see, it is giving me all. Well, why? Well, I'm just configuring this one. Let me get back in here to see what is going on. Remember that this search btn, in this search button, I need to have this search, and in this search select all from car where plate no is equal. I didn't put an equal sign. Okay. Now it's good. Let me see now. Good. I'm sorry for the delay of my machine. Let me just have something back. This one, and I'm loading expecting my system to bring something else. I'm not sure why. Okay, let me go here. Okay, I need to write this query to check if the query works. Good. Select all from this one where plate number is concerned. Sorry. Great. Select all from these where plate number is concerned. Oh, it works. Good. Okay. Here to be select all where this one is good to txt plate number dot text. Let's click on then the other bind this one. Good. Okay, let me go in. Hope I'm not loading. Yes. Sorry, not this one. But like something like this one. It is not updating this one, but it's not the case. Let's go. Let's continue. Oh, let me first work on update and we shall see why the other thing is not working. That should be done after. Okay, remember that we did on insert and update will be the same. Good. SQL query and update button. Here it will not be like this. It will be set plate number is equal to, so which means here I will be having something like set Latin plate number is equal to that one. Then is equal to this one. Passenger is equal to that one. And last but not least, the return date. So after this one, we have something like this. So it will be update then set plate number is go to that one, this to this go to this. Great. Okay, update cassette plate now is go to this, car model is go to this, passenger is go to this, return date is go to this. Great. So here when you're updating, you should not update this one, but this one should come in your where condition. So which means because that one is a primary key, then you will be having my where condition, then this and this. I think I'm done. This one should not be here. Great. Successfully updated. Okay, here there's something that I want to make on the insert and the register. I want to have like a message like this one. I want to have like I want to have another message, and let me use script manager, dot. Let me try this one, register startup script. Then I will be having the comma this dot get. Let me get something like type, and after getting something like type, I do have something like this, and I say it's a script. Then here I will be having something else like alert, and this alert can be like successfully inserted, and under this one I can have comma after this one. We have like something like true and something like that. Let me check. I want something like a pop-up to tell me that it is successfully inserted. Let us wait. Let me just add something else. LAF model is for example Scorpion percentage only T, and if you are taking it to the are successfully inserted. Wow. So you can see the copy of mine is in. Then that script, I want just to bring it every time, like this script. It's a good okay. On update also want to have the same layer, other than having successfully inserted, we have successfully updated. Successfully updated. Okay, so which means let me try for the update cassette cam model. Let's go to this. Great. So let me say, for example, I'm taking this one, and here I am having something like the cam model, than having Karina. Let me put Hyundai. Number of passengers increases to 8, and let me say 17, and I click on update. Successfully updated. You can see now the update is working. Remember that here views view clear, so view is already done, but in place of view, let me put delete. Let me put delete in times in just place of view. Let me change this one to delete, but remember that delete is sensitive because it is not good to do it. Sorry, it is not good to do it usually. And in my delete, let me just copy all of these. Then I put them in my delete button. So here it will be delete from. Okay. Then I go to where? Only this one. And let me say, for example, good. So here to be successfully deleted. Okay, so if I come here, good. Let me just say, I want to delete, for example, this one. If I paste it there and I click on delete, successfully deleted. Let's check. Wow, it has gone. So clear and search. So then we are now going to get to search, but then before I get to search, I want just to load something here. Here on load, I've been just doing something different the other time. So loading, usually I want when you click here, everything to come here. So which means what I need is different to what I wanted. Like, great. Like here from this load, let me first remove this button. Select number. Okay. Okay, let us go. What I want whenever we click on load, we want everything to come. So if I want everything to come, it's not this display there, right? I want everything to come once I click on load. Then it will be loaded. So let me just copy something whereby I had SQL data reader. Something like SDA, where do I have it? Never mind, let me write the code. So here I will have my connection opening. After opening my connection, so we have my SQL command, which can be cd is equal to new SQL command. But then from here, what will I do? I will have select create. Let me copy this one as long as we have some. So here it will be select all from platinum, select all from this where platinum is equal to this. Great. SQL command is equal to this SQL query con. That's it. Then SQL adapter. Here we have SQL data reader, and here let me call it reader, which is equal to cd dot execute the reader. I want to execute reader. After executing this reader, I need to check if there's something that has been taken from my reader, which means I will read from it. So when you read, then there's somewhere that your data are being stored. So when you read, then I am having my data. I am having my data that I want my data to be in some field, which means I will be saying, okay, let car model be there, let number of passengers be there, let also the return date be there. Car model, which means it will be txt car model dot text is equal to ara dot get value. So I'm getting the value from the database, and when you go to the database, you need to be sure about when the car model is 0, 1, 2. Car model is 2, passenger 3. Are you getting my point? Yes, I'm sure that you're getting. Okay, this is 3. Then dot 1 to the string. Great. So this I am going to copy it. So other than having this one, I will be having this for passenger. The text is good to fall now. Then after this one, I will be having 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, which is return date. Okay, return date to be calendar 1 dot selected date is good to error dot get timestamp. I want to get this date time, but then the problem is that is integer. But let me try get a value. Okay, let's do it like this. I hope this one will work. Like saying date time, the DOB, it's going to convert to date time, error from return date. So to this selected date, I put it at DOB. So after this one, so if you want, let me try. I want to see if this works, and if it doesn't work, I will remove it. I will just configure it to the next of our video. Let me say, for example, I want to copy this. I want first of all to paste it here, delete it, it works. Let me remove this, let me update this one. While I load its data, there is an error. So the error is invalid operation exception on this one SQL data reader, whereby additional information to execute occurred. Okay, system invalid operation exception occurred to this. Let us check. Usually this one can be a problem of not having an open connection. And here I will just close my connection. Again, let me do it. Again, like this. Wow, you can see that it's working. It clearly works. So after having this one, you can say, okay, let me put 8, and I'm going to update. Okay, in update there is an issue, there is a query, there is a problem. What's the problem? Okay, I didn't see it. Connection open, connection close, connection open, and also connection close. Great. Connection open, connection close, connection. It is better in search. Need to open my connection, and after opening it, I need also to close it. Okay, sometimes you may have many connection open, so then they bring some errors to you. Let me just click on something like, okay, this one. Then I click on load. I want to load this data. Want to have like that one with the 9 passengers. Then I click on update. STL data SQL client exception occurred in okay, but not handled in the user code in year 12. Additional information and correct syntax near 12. Great, it is in update. SQL non execute non-query update cassette car model. Cut to these passengers, to these. Let me run it alone and then I see if it works or not. That's what I want. Let me close other tabs. Let me just click here. That's this number of passengers full. It should be returned here. This 25th. Then I click on update. Successfully updated. And the Mercedes is there. So the problem is then, why is it not bringing? Why is it not running? Once I click like this and I load, time to see. Oh, I can't see the reason. You can see that here in number of passengers, they just number of passengers, the car mode. Okay, there was an error. There was an error in configuring this one, right? Configuring my load. Great. Let me go to load back. I'm going back to load. This load of mine is having some issues. Number 3, it should have, okay, I need to go back to my database and I say this is the ID. Let me slash. This is 0, plate number is 1, car mode is 2. This is 2. This is 3. And we are done. Great. Great job. Okay, let me come here and they update to 6% to 6. Great. I just come here and then I update to 6, and also I just update this one to this. I click on update. Well, good, updated. So as you can see, we are done with this thing. So the only remaining things is only for the designs and so on and so forth, and also having a complete project. Let me say, for example, this design, let me just try to change some things. Like for the background, let me do it like this. For this, and also this one for color background. Just trying to mix some colors. I'm trying to mix some colors. Just trying to mix some colors. I'm trying to mix some colors to make it appear look a bit good, look pretty good. I don't know what I'm doing, but what I think is that okay. I'm sorry for this. So the remaining then it can even be done. As long as we've done this one, the only remaining things is to go to the database and also have the configuration or from one table to another one for the foreign key and so on and so forth. So this is part one, and we are done now for part one. We are done for part one. And see you in part two. So thank you very much. Thank you guys for watching this tutorial, and I will attach the link for the source code to whoever wants, so that you can be able to have access to it anytime. Thank you.